girl, what a world, what a light. Oh, I married Joan. What a mind, love is blind, what a wife.
Joan Davis with Jim Backus in
I married Joan.
Good morning, Joni. Hello.
Hello.
You know, Joni, I was thinking about that opinion I'm writing on Smith versus Parchment, and a new angle came to me about caveat emptor. You see, Joan, may I inquire what is so absorbing?
The blonde bandit. She struck again.
What for? Better pay?
The police acknowledge themselves completely baffled. They think she might be a thrill bandit. By day, the bored wife of a businessman who thinks only of money. By night, a prowling tiger.
Joan, doesn't it mean anything to you that I'm trying to tell you something that is pretty important to me?
Well, of course it does, dear.
Some wives might even consider a judge's job fairly interesting.
Well, I am interested, dear, in everything that you do. I think your job is just about one of the most fascinating things that I've seen in the...
Joan, will you get me some hot coffee, please? And do you mind if I take the paper? Joan, listen to this. In answer to charges that he had deserted his wife after 23 years of marriage, Homer Cathcart told the court yesterday that his wife Imogene and he had no common interest.
What a shame.
Mr. Cathcart said, "My wife is not interested in my work. And rather than sit and stare at each other for another 23 years, I decided to leave home." Well, that's the way it goes with marriage. You never know when it will happen to you. Farewell.
Goodbye. Brad. Bradley, what did you mean, Bradley? Oh, honey, I've been wanting to ask you, could I come down and visit you in your court this morning? Because I'm awfully interested in what goes on in your court. So, can I come down, huh?
Well, of course, Joni.
Oh, thank you, dear. Brad?
Yes?
The suitcase.
The lock is broken. Has to have it fixed. Goodbye.
I wonder if he's smarter than I am.
Now, you understand, Mr. Slattery, in waiving the right of trial by jury, you give me latitude in asking questions.
Oh, sure. Ask me anything, Judge.
Now, the night the safe was blown at the Palace Theater, just where were you, Mr. Slattery?
I refuse to answer. I stand on the Fifth Amendment.
Where did you get the money to buy your wife a new fur coat?
I stand on the Fifth Amendment.
Oh, what do you think of the judge, Don't you think he's real dignified and real smart? Well, of course, if you knew him, I mean really knew him.
He's a judge, ain't he? You know one, you know 'em all.
Of course, I'm not one to brag, but as long as you ask me, I'm Mrs. Judge Bradley Stevens.
That's your husband up there?
That's right, the one on the left.
That's my husband, the one on the right.
Oh, Mrs.
Rocky Slattery, so happy to know you. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to get a cup of coffee.
Gee, I'm sorry, but don't you worry about your husband, because my husband is very fair.
Fair. Some fair. Them judges is all alike. Poor Rocky.
No, you just don't understand it. Listen, do you mind if I join you for coffee?
Why not? It's a free country. So like I've been saying, all I know is he wants to send my poor Rocky up. A nice, kind man wouldn't do a nasty thing like that.
Well, that's because he doesn't understand Rocky like we do. Nobody's told him. Now, if you were to talk to him like you talk to me...
Talk to him? How am I going to talk to him? I was a witness for Rocky, but he wouldn't listen. Them judges never listen to nobody.
Listen, you come to dinner tonight, and we'll both talk to him.
Oh, swell, honey. Oh, well, we better get back to court.
Yeah.
Hiya, Joni.
Welcome home, Brad.
Girl, yeah.
Come here, darling. I want you to meet...
Mrs. Slattery, what are you doing here?
I stand on the Fifth Amendment.
Brad, Mrs. Slattery's husband has such an honest face
Joan.
that I thought, and dogs love him, and kids, oh...
Joan, when a judge has a verdict under advisement, to discuss it with anyone is prejudicial error, and he might be forced to disqualify himself. So I positively cannot discuss with either one of you any of the details.
What did I tell you?
Any of the details involving your husband's case, Mrs. Slattery.
I invited Mrs. Slattery to dinner.
Then I suggest that we eat. Mrs. Slattery?
Thanks.
The judge? You know what, Mrs. Slattery?
No, what, Mrs. Stevens?
I was reading the other day, Mrs. Slattery.
What were you reading the other day, Mrs. Stevens?
Well, it seems there was a judge who electrocuted a man on circumstantial evidence. And the man turned out to be innocent.
No. Oh, what did the judge do?
What did he do? What could he do? He shot himself.
The only decent thing.
Poor dear. I think I better send in the heavy artillery. Do I hear someone at the door?
I didn't hear anyone at the door.
Oh, I'm sure I heard someone at the door.
Dear Mother, when are you coming home to give us our meager meal of milk and crackers?
Snake, kid, your mother's over there.
Where's the bad man who wants to send our innocent father to jail?
Please, Brad, have you no heart?
What is to become of us and our 5 baby sisters if our father is sent up the river? Alas.
5 baby sisters.
French. And what have you to say, my manly little man?
Well, Mrs. Stevens, if I can't remember my line, will you give me the 50 cents anyways?
Cute little tyke.
Joan, it's perfectly obvious these kids are all phonies.
Well, maybe this one is, but what about Mrs. Slattery's other 4 children? 3 children?
Joan, come over here. Joan, I am certain the Slatterys have no children.
You're helping by sending him to jail? Gee, I wonder if I can make Brad think I might be the blonde bandit. Just with circumstantial evidence. He's pretty smart. But I've got to make him believe it. Otherwise, he may send Rocky to prison. An innocent man. And Brad'd never get over it. Not with his conscience. I'll show him just how wrong circumstantial evidence can be.
Hello, Joni.
Oh, hello, dear. Lunch is all ready for you. Sit right down. Thought you might like to read the paper while you were eating.
Oh, thank you, dear.
See anything interesting?
No?
Brad, the headlines. Blonde Bandit still at large. She could be anybody, even the wife of a judge. All they'd need to prove who she is some circumstantial evidence.
Joan, please.
All right. Go and eat your lunch, dear. Oh, Sam, I've got a surprise for you. After you finish your lunch, be sure and smoke a cigar. I got some new ones. Put them right in the humidor here.
Fine.
Well, I guess I better go and straighten up in the kitchen. Got to go out on a job. I mean, the club meeting with the girls, you know. You don't mind, dear.
No, fine. Oh, Joe.
Sorry to bother you at home, Judge Stevens.
Yeah, well, what's up?
Well, we have to get this bench warrant out right away. We have to pick up a character before we can leave town.
Oh, well, make yourself comfortable. Here, you want to read the paper?
Oh, thanks, Judge. What do you think of this blonde bandit stuff?
Oh, that's newspaper stuff.
I'd sure like to capture her. $5,000 reward, dead or alive. Could be some society dame, huh?
No, Joe, I doubt it. Listen, I'll fix this up in my study, and I'll be right back.
No hurry, Judge. Take your time.
Just ought to get him. Hey, do you know what happened to the
blonde bandit.
No, I'm not the blonde bandit.
Oh, you're the blonde bandit.
Honest, I'm not.
There's a $5,000 reward for you, dead or alive, and it's all
No,
mine.
see me, it's not me.
Don't try to get away. Shoot!
Say, Joe, what's going on?
Judge, out of my way.
What?
It's the blonde bandit. The
No,
blonde
that
bandit.
wasn't the blonde bandit. That was my wife.
Your what?
Yes. Wait a minute. Is this the blonde bandit?
Yeah, that's her.
Well, that's my blonde maniac.
I don't get it, Judge.
Well, don't try to, Joe. Trying to understand my wife is you have to have a 4-year course. She was just playing a game with her.
A game?
Yes, a game called Circumstantial Evidence.
Oh, Judge, this is no laughing matter. I might have shot her.
Oh, shot her. Say, Joe, this is terrible. It's time I really taught her a lesson about those schemes of hers. Joe, do you know Fancy Farney?
Fancy Farney. Sure, the fellow you put on parole.
Yeah. Will you tell him I want to see him this afternoon and ask him to come over and bring along some friends?
Oh, sure, Judge. But he's going straight, you know.
Yeah, I know. I just want him to help me put an end to the career of my blonde bandit once and for all.
Who are you?
Class. Real class.
Well, what do you want? What do you want?
Farney's her name, Blondie. Fancy Farney. The organization sent me.
Oh, well, I belong to enough clubs already. Believe me, with the dues now, you...
It ain't that kind of an organization. The boys don't like you working alone. We got a closed shop in this town. If you want to work, you gotta belong to the organization.
Oh, you've made a horrible mistake.
No mistake. Well, what about it, Blondie? Are you gonna cooperate?
Let me explain. I'm not the blonde bandit. I'm just a housewife. Just a happy little housewife. Happy.
Oh, yeah?
Mr. Clancy, you don't understand.
Now, look, here's the first thing the organization wants. Half of that hot ice you got stashed away here.
Oh, is that what you want? Well, listen, these aren't real jewels. They're just paste.
Don't give me that, sister. The blonde bandit ain't hoisting no phony ice.
Eh?
No, she ain't.
I'll tell you what, Clancy. If I split half of the jewels with you, will you leave then? Will you? Will you go?
Well, for the time being, anyhow.
Okay. Now, here's a necklace for you. And a necklace for me. And a bracelet for you. And a bracelet for me. And a tiara for you. And a tiara for me. And a bunch of rings for you. And a bunch of rings for me.
Wait a minute. We better count.
One for you, one for me, and one for you, and 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 one for you.
So.
I know how this
And
looks.
I thought you were making believe that you were the blonde bandit. There was another one of your schemes. But this...
Oh, Brad, listen.
And you, for it. You realize that you're breaking parole?
Yeah, but who's going to tell on me? Not you. Because if you tell on me, I'll tell on her.
Why, this is blackmail.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just can't believe it. But you win. With my wife a crook.
Brad, I'm not a crook. I'm not. Now, you must...
Oh, now listen, you stop being
I'm
giant. I
telling
can't wait.
you.
Wait out.
Both of you. If there's anything that makes me nervous, it's a family spat. I'll see you around.
Joan, I just can't believe this. My own wife, a criminal, consorting with other criminals.
But, Brad, it isn't
This
true.
may have been going on for years. I go to court every day, work like a loyal husband. I don't know what's going on here.
What's going on here?
Well, how do I know? Maybe this house is a hideout for criminals. With Barney hanging around here, why not the rest of the underworld?
I'm not going to listen to this anymore, Judge Bradley Stevens. I'm going to bed.
But, Joni...
Say, am I glad you're in the organization now, sister. What a spot to run a still in without the cops butting in. Hey, take your shoes off, sister. There's a load of grapes in the bathtub that needs trampling.
Honey, I thought you were going to bed.
I'm not sleepy anymore, Brad. I changed my mind. Look, I'm just wide awake.
Oh, look, honey, I'm sorry I was so hard on you. I really didn't mean it when I said this was probably a hangout for the underworld. My little girl couldn't be a criminal, so just forget all about it, huh? Well, I think I'll go to bed.
Don't go in there, dear.
Well, why not?
Well, it's too early to go to sleep, darling. I tell you what, it's such a lovely night out. Supposing we take a nice walk. That's very good to make you sleepy.
Oh, yes. Well, wait a minute, dear. It's a little chilly. Don't you think you'd better get our coats?
Yes, sister.
Gotcha. $200 on Prince George in the third, Handy Annie, 100 across the board in the fifth.
Oh, my gosh.
That's it, lady. Oh, my gosh, in the fourth. How do you want to bet it?
Tony, I thought we were going for a walk.
Yes. Let's get out of here. Let's go for a walk.
What about our coats?
Oh, it's so balmy. Who needs coats? Come on, dear.
I've been waiting for you to brush the old man.
What's wrong, Joan?
Well, it's too cold. Let's not go out this way. Let's go out the back way.
It's warmer out the back way?
Southern exposure.
Behaving very strangely.
Gentlemen, place your bets. Around and round she goes. And it's black 22. Black wins again.
Joan, will you explain this?
And around she goes.
Brad, will you do me a favor?
What?
Put $2 on red while I try to figure this thing out. I just can't get over you cooking up this whole thing just to teach me a lesson.
That's right, Joan, I did.
Ah, but you didn't teach me a lesson. I taught you one.
Huh?
Well, I set out to prove that circumstantial evidence can make even an innocent person look guilty, right?
Right, but...
And all you did was make me look even guiltier. So it certainly proves my point about circumstantial evidence.
You know something? You're right.
Mm-hmm. So, Brad, will you turn Rocky Slattery loose? It's all just circumstantial evidence, you know.
Well, I would, Joan, except for one thing.
Oh, what's that?
He confessed this morning. And by the way, you know who the blonde bandit is?
Who?
Mrs. Slatter. Yeah. Now, Mrs. Stevens, what have you got to say?
Well, I stand the Fifth Amendment.
I married Joan. What a girl, what a world, what a life.